We talk a lot about television ratings here on the channel. The mainstream media, they would like you to believe that television ratings no longer matter, mainly because their ratings are struggling too. You ever notice you never hear complaints about ratings at Fox News or from the NFL? College basketball, they're seeing an increase in ratings this season. Don't ever hear complaints there. NASCAR just saw an increase in the Daytona 500 last weekend, though NASCAR has reason to be concerned. The Daytona 500, the biggest event on the NASCAR calendar, set a 3-year high for ratings, but they still weren't close to 10 million. Had less than 2 million in the key 18 to 45 demo, which means NASCAR has an extremely old fan base, and they're not adding younger viewers to offset it. They wasted an opportunity to make Brandon Brown the face of NASCAR, but that's a topic for another day. I find it funny sometimes how the mainstream media covers television ratings. Tuesday mornings during NFL season, I can search for NFL ratings from the weekend and find dozens of articles covering it in seconds. But when it comes to the NBA regular season and the topic of this video, the All-Star game, it took me 30 minutes to find 2 sources to verify these ratings. Why? Why do you think that's the case? When I reveal the ratings to you in just a second, you'll understand. The mainstream media, they do an excellent job covering up for the fact that the NBA is a struggling brand here in America. The league is extremely popular in China, which I guess is great since that's all the NBA and its players care about. But here in America, the NBA has never been more irrelevant. This league receives more favorable media coverage than all other sports combined. I know most of you don't watch ESPN anymore, but turn on ESPN any time of the day. I would be willing to bet the time spent on opinion-based shows on the network, 75% is dedicated to coverage of the NBA. It doesn't make any sense when you look at the ratings. Going into the All-Star break, ratings for the NBA regular season were flat compared to 2019. The NBA is only up 6% from the record low ratings they set the past 2 years. TNT, ESPN, they're averaging 1.4 million a game. Games broadcast on ABC, 3.8 million, down 100,000 viewers from 2019. Across the board, the NBA is averaging 1.6 million viewers per game. They've cracked 5 million just twice this season. Yet no one believes this is a problem. There is no concern about this. The reason for that, the NBA is being propped up by their masters in China. I'm going to tell you the problem with that strategy here in just a second. First, let me quit bloviating and give you the ratings for All-Star Weekend. All-Star Saturday Night, which features all the events that no one gives a fuck about. The three-point contest, the skills competition, the dunk contest. All events that used to draw big numbers for the NBA. All events that most superstar players refuse to participate in. The dunk contest used to feature the biggest stars in the league. Throughout his career, LeBron James has felt that he is above the dunk contest. This is one of the biggest problems in the NBA today. The players don't give a shit. Therefore, the fans don't. All-Star Saturday Night, 4.2 million. Sunday night, the All-Star game. This was basically an ode to LeBron James. The king returns home. Starts off with Machine Gun Kelly embarrassing himself trying to be a comedian. Macy Gray supposedly singing the national anthem. I'm not sure what the fuck she was doing, but it was not singing. Sounded like a cat in heat being fucked by a chihuahua. LeBron James, he stoked the media over the weekend by hinting that he could end his career in Cleveland. This was an orchestrated effort on LeBron's part to get the hell out of Los Angeles. Much like he did in Cleveland, 4 or 5 years ago? LeBron James comes to LA, brings in all of his friends on big money contracts. The Lakers waste a max contract on Anthony Davis, the most overrated player in the league. Russell Westbrook. LeBron James convinced the Lakers to trade away their future, put them in a salary cap hell, all for a bubble championship that no one considers to be legitimate. I hope it was worth it. LeBron James is about to do what he does best: leave a mess he created. Anyway, the All-Star Game Sunday drew 5.4 million. Record low. This was lower than the record low the NBA set last year, which was 5.9 million. Now, to be fair, another 800,000 or so watched the simulcast on TBS. So I guess technically this is not a record low, but hell, it's not my fault you split your audience. The numbers are the numbers. But KC, the NBA had competition. The Olympics were closing out on Sunday night. Yeah. What's your point? No one was watching the Olympics either. The Kobe Olympics were the least watched of all time. I have been sitting on that story for about 2 days now, trying to find the interest to talk about it. But what else can I say about the Kobe Olympics that I haven't already said? It was a disaster. I want you to understand just how bad these ratings are for the NBA. Now, I don't expect the All-Star game to draw 10, 12, 15 million like it did 20 years ago. That's just unrealistic. From 2011 to 2020, the All-Star game averaged 7.7 million. In just 2 years, the NBA has lost about 2.5 million viewers. Now, these are casual viewers too. These are casual NBA fans who watch the big events. They'll watch the playoffs, catch a marquee regular season game here and there. 2.5 million vanished. Like I mentioned earlier, the NBA doesn't care because they're being propped up by China. Of the $8 billion the league generates in revenue every year, $5 billion of that comes from China. There is a serious problem with that strategy, a serious problem. My first job out of college was a sales job. It was selling MRO, construction supplies, stuff like that. My first year, there was a major project going on in my territory. It was a $2 billion steel mill that was under construction. Now, obviously, my numbers that first year were through the roof during construction of the project. I was riding high, making a shitload of money. The job site wasn't just my primary focus, it was my only focus. My sales manager at the time, he kept pushing me to focus on MRO business, consistent business. He kept saying, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. Now, in the back of my mind, I knew he was right, but the project was scheduled to last 2, maybe 3 years, and at 23 years old, 2 years is a lifetime. I'm a procrastinator too. I figured I would focus on MRO business later. Well, later came sooner than I expected. The project was completed ahead of schedule. My numbers, my pay, dropped 75% in about a month. I had to basically start all over, and I was behind the other salesmen in the area who gained and maintained the consistent MRO business while I was busy focusing on temporary business. Now that story is similar to what's going on with the NBA in China. Oh, everything is great right now. Billions of dollars are flowing in. 400 million people are watching the NBA in China. Shoes, jerseys are flying off the shelves. It's all smiles and girly giggles in Adam Silver's office. But what happens if there is another Daryl Morey? What happens if a coach or a general manager tweets their support of Taiwan? What happens if there's another Enes Kanter, another NBA player making the media rounds criticizing Adam Silver's object of sexual devotion, Xi Jinping? What happens then? The Chinese government kicks the NBA out of their country. No more televised games, no more merchandise, no more revenue. $5 billion in revenue vanishes in seconds. But don't worry, guys, that's okay. We still have all of our fans here in America. No, you don't. Americans will tolerate many things, but they tend to hold grudges when you treat them secondary to someone else. People are not stupid. They know the NBA has chosen China over America. They're not just going to forgive the league because they get dumped by China. The thing is, Adam Silver knows this. He knows the NBA is screwed if China pulls out. It's the reason he acts so swiftly when anything could be perceived negatively by the ultra-emotional CCP. It is the worst position for a business to be in. You're beholden to one customer, and that customer knows it. China knows they have all the leverage in their relationship with the NBA. They could tell Adam Silver to put on a Speedo and go compete against Leah Thomas, and Adam Silver would ask, which color would you like me to wear? Well, let me know what you guys think. Give me your thoughts on the god-awful ratings for the All-Star Game. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.